Hello and welcome to Group B of the Legends Series ELC Overwatch. We've got some exciting games coming up for you today, and I'm here, your host Nikita, Wraithwell Buffy, with Nero Integrate.
Hello, and yes, compared to yesterday, today is going to be even more crazy. Just looking at the lineup that we've got right here, I'm already astonished. These teams are just huge, and well, can't wait for the matches. We're kicking off with Helsinki Reds versus Team Netherlands, and I don't think it's going to be a one-sided one, but I've already got my favorite. I'm going to keep it a secret though. And then Vivi's Adventure versus Who Are They? And yesterday I mentioned how Polish teams are always capable of surprising because they're usually no names. There's some people that just transfer over from Counter-Strike or League of Legends to earn some easy money on Overwatch or something. But just looking at the teams that they're facing off against today, I don't think that they will do well.
No, I think, yesterday we had some really amazing matches and it was great. And I'm really looking forward to today's ones. We definitely have some favorites, but I think it's going to be quite close in terms of matches. And I think, as yesterday showed us, anything can really happen. So I'm definitely looking forward to it. I know you were looking into some of the teams previously and some of the players. So who are you particularly looking forward to watching?
Well, lately these adventure are going wild on the European scene. So definitely they would be a favorite kind of on paper, but then on Team Netherlands, on Helsinki Reds, you in both of these teams have some players that are extremely notable and recognized on the scene. They've played in many huge tournaments, tier one tournaments, and have some accomplishments out there. So it's real tough to call if there's gonna be a one-sided favorite in here. I just really want to see them match up against each other. But yeah, technically it should be Vivi's Adventure, right?
No, absolutely, and I think that should be very interesting. I know we have a lot of fans of the Helsinkis at the moment, but Team Netherlands are definitely strong, and I think as a first match of the tournament, it's going to be great to watch. I just want to give a big shout out to Too Easy and his streamers. He's now hosting us, and we really appreciate it from ELC Gaming. So thanks a lot for that, Too Easy.
Yeah, huge thank you. And overall, Team Netherlands, I mean, yes, Helsinki can have a lot of people backing them up. They can have the fans behind them, but Team Netherlands are a strong cannon themselves, right? And Vivi's Adventure, as I said, they're technically the highest ranked team in the mix right now from like Ghost Gamers and stuff. But a team like Team Netherlands doesn't have a ranking right there, and I'm not necessarily sure whether they would be along the line, somewhere along the lines of that eighth place in the Europe or something like that. And then who are they? They are ranked pretty low. They don't have their matches in the recent history and stuff like that. I personally don't know a single player from that lineup because, as I said, like ex pros from Counter Strike just transfer over and stuff. So I know quite a bit of people in Polish Overwatch, but not necessarily these guys. So
Well,
I'm
I mean that's
wondering if
part of
they'll
the
have something up
excitement.
their sleeve.
Yeah, well, they qualified, so it's quite exciting, and they're kind of we have no idea to what to expect, and they could come out of nowhere and end up taking it. We've definitely seen in our previous Legend series teams that had been underestimated and ended up taking out the other teams that were expected to win quite easily.
Yeah, for instance, Isaba's doing not so well in the first Legend series and then coming up quite strong.
Yeah,
And overall, we also have an Isaba team right here, if I'm not mistaken, in
we
Group
do. Yeah.
D. So yeah, that will be also awesome to just see them in every single game, in every single Legend series that we organize. They've been taking part of. They've been the part of, and the question is, will they be also in the third Counter Strike Legend series? Because that I don't know yet. But yeah, it's just amazing how these guys are
Well,
always
they
with us.
won both. So they won both of them. So it's definitely I'd expect to see them at the third count to strike, and I think it'll be exciting to see whether they take this one as well. Because if that's the case, I like it'll be crazy for Isuba to have won every single Legend series in three different games.
Not necessarily, just not the first one. The first in
Oh yeah,
Counter-Strike did
sorry.
not go well for them at all. Like they got smashed, but yeah, they came back much stronger. So it's really interesting to see. Yeah, the
Yeah.
teams are flowing into the lobby, and shortly we'll probably be starting the veto. So the game is soon to be on the way. And yesterday we had some real packed matches. We had some King of the Hill maps going all the way to nearly 30 minutes. just because of that, we also got some delays going right there. And I hope that today, as I already mentioned at the very beginning, is going to be even better. So you better look out for it.
Yeah, so just so everyone knows, it's going to be a best of three format with double elimination. So whoever loses drops down to the lower bracket and has an opportunity to fight their way back up to the top in the final. So it gives us a more of a balanced kind of setting, and it allows the best players to, even if they lose once, they'll still have that opportunity to get through to the end. And we looks like we have picks and bans coming up now.
Yeah, just two more bands, and then we'll see which maps will be played. But I can already see that most likely Dorado will be among the map pool. That's what I like because yesterday we did not get to see Dorado at all, nor was it even in the pool. It was always banned earlier, so that was quite surprising
Yeah.
to me.
It seemed like definitely one of your favorites. I know we saw a lot of Lijiang Tower. That was one that was seemed very popular, and it's a lot of fun. It's a fun map to see. I think, to be honest, all the maps are good fun. It's interesting to see how they affect the meta and how the teams adapt to the map pool and how it plays out.
Yeah. Oh no, Dorado gets
There
banned
we
before
go.
he reaches the pole. So yeah, we're gonna have Numbani, Nepal, and Route 66. Route 66 in nearly or maybe even every single match yesterday, but very rarely played as it was always left as the third map, and yeah, that's how it goes. And NSA actually they faced off against Tier 3 in the grand finals of Group A and also in the opening match of Group A, and both of these were a 2-0, but both of them were pretty close right there. So I'm wondering what it's going to be right here. And also another thing, as you mentioned, there is the losers brackets, right?
Yeah.
Technically, but still only one team gets out of the group. And no matter how many chances you get, we've got three amazing, great teams with history behind them in here. And unfortunately, two of them are going to get knocked out. So that's quite tough.
Absolutely, and I think we have when we're looking at these teams, the Helsinki Reds are a very interesting team. You know, they're backed by a hockey team from Finland. I think they've been given quite a lot of money to kind of set up this esports team as a partner to the ice hockey brand, which is quite popular itself. So it'll be interesting to see how they perform. I think they recently played Ninjas in Pajamas, if I remember correctly, which they lost, but they're starting to be matched up against some better teams and more established esports organizations. So it'll be interesting to see how they get out there.
Yeah. Now that's also like already seeing the bigger money coming into the play and stuff like that. They have their fans, of course, the fan base. Just with the name, it already comes. But we had Panathinaikos, the team from Greece, playing in one of our Legend series before. Yet they didn't perform well at all. And the name and the
Yeah.
organization behind you is just not everything, right?
No, not at all. Really, at the end of the day, you can be given a lot of resources and opportunities, but it's up to the players to really step up and make use of them and come together. But it's also, it's not enough just to throw money. You've also got to understand the scene, the players, and what can be done with it. So, yeah. I don't know, but it should be exciting. Definitely with the Team Netherlands. I think this is a great first match to start. I think I said that earlier, but between the two, they're two well-established orgs. They have money behind them, and the players are definitely hungry to rise up to that tier A, tier S kind of gameplay.
Yeah, and that's also a thing. We're kicking off with an amazing match, but with the lineup of the teams that we have in this group, I don't doubt that the entire day is going to be huge.
Yeah.
And then there comes a question of whether actually who are they are gonna perform or are they gonna get crushed completely. I hope that they will not like go down so easily in like 5 minute matchups on each map or something like that. They won't even be able to get 1 point because at one point in Overwatch, even the top teams were so different in skill that top one team from Europe facing off against top two team was able to close them in the respawn and not let them get out. So I fear that that might be what we'll be seeing in here at some match at some point. But maybe it's not going to be the case. After all, Overwatch has just evolved so much, and I believe that even if the polls like aren't ranked as a team as high as the guys in here, they're probably ranked pretty high in the competitive matches, and they will know what to do on like a solo queue level. at least skill-wise, they might be able to
Yeah.
pick up a fight, right?
I mean, absolutely. At this level, these guys are top of the kind of solo queue, and they definitely know how to play the game. I think it will be interesting to see how they execute it because, looking back, you're talking about how it was earlier on. I think South Korea in the first World Championship didn't even lose. I can't remember if it was a match or a series in the whole tournament. So, they just dominated everyone. So it's kind of, you do have the chance for these complete blowouts, and we've definitely seen recently where some teams have just taken control of the map and then that's it, they've held on to it, and the other team hasn't been able to crack it. But with that constant evolution, it's going to be very exciting. Something I guess what I want to talk about and announce is that Doomfist will be going live later on today. And we should hopefully be seeing it in the tournament in the later stages. We're not sure if the teams will pick it, but if they do, it will definitely be exciting to see him.
Yeah, that's the question. Will they? Have they played it on the PTR or whatever, or will they just not care about it at all and just let it through? Um,
I think they will. I'd be very surprised if they didn't because the teams are, from what I've been hearing, he's definitely very strong and there's an opportunity there to bring out something exciting and a little bit the other teams might not know how to deal with them. So and the combinations where you can tie him in, I think could be really game changing. So I would be very personally surprised if they didn't use him.
I'm not sure. I mean, after Anna got released, everybody was just so hesitant to pick it, and at one point she got picked on Watchpoint Gibraltar, if I'm not mistaken, and it showed up only once in an entire tier one huge tournament. And she already was in the game for a bit of time. And just a while after, she became a tier one support hero that showed up in every single match.
Yeah.
So uh, people don't necessarily want to experiment with like newer heroes, really.
No, not always, but I think there's a difference between Anna, who is more of the support style, and as great as she is, she's very, her kit unlocks or shuts down other people, and I can see how people would have relied on the other supports that they're much more comfortable with, whereas Doomfist definitely has that playmaking potential by himself, that damage output. I think the way that he can be used is much more straightforward, but I don't know, we'll end up seeing, won't we?
Yeah, that's for sure true. Now we're just still missing one player from Helsinki Reds, but we already know that
Yeah.
Numbani is going to be our first map. Then we have Nepal and Route 66 left in the pool, and all of these maps are the maps that we already saw yesterday. Though
Yeah.
Numbani was pretty weird, actually, because Ensei were the ones stomping tier 3 into the ground on King's Row, but when they transferred over to Numbani, they struggled to really even get anywhere, but somehow they got 3 points after all. So that was quite interesting to watch. I'm wondering what these teams are gonna do right here, and if the team comps are actually gonna be the very same. Because we got to see a little bit of the Farm Mercy yesterday. We got to see a lot of Winston, of course, and I'm a big fan of that. There was only one match where the main tank was just trying to stick with the Reinhardt no matter what, and it worked out quite fine for them. So
Yeah.
I can't blame them, but it was a little bit weird to see, like, with the value that Winston brings in the nowadays meta, is just so hard to just skip him.
He is so strong, and he's just such a playmaker. And I think Winston in the hands of a champion is it's amazing. I'm definitely super excited to kind of see the team comps and how they do it. I hope it won't be mirror matchups because we have been seeing some people, swap between Soldier 76 and Farah. And so I don't know. We'll end up seeing how it goes, but it definitely will be interesting. I'm enjoying watching the stream chat. We have a bunch of people who are betting on who will win. So we have, I think, a couple of people betting on either side. So definitely lots of fans of both Team Netherlands and Helsinki Reds.
Oh yeah, and as I said, both the teams have their names. We're gonna have some awesome primer plays right there. So I'm definitely looking forward to the DPS, and of course, as you were talking about the playmaker there, and in the context of Winston, definitely the DPS are the playmakers. Although lately we are mostly, or yesterday we were mostly seeing like a nano boost on Winston whenever Anna was picked, So it
Yeah.
was quite interesting that it was very rare to see a Dragon Blade with a nano boost or anything like that. I'm wondering if when you have a Crime in your lineup, if you're just gonna go for boosting your DPS as much as possible to let him just unleash his demons.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm definitely interested to see how things go. It will definitely have to wait and see. I mean, so far, I think with the teams, what we have is we have a Genji on one side and we have Tracer on the other, but otherwise they are mirror matched. So I mean, as expected, Lucio's out there, and the teams are starting. Here we go.
That's a pretty quick kill towards that Zenyatta. I don't think it was worth it to actually look for the initial damage out there. But yeah, Winston already on the backside. And well, for now, Helsinki Reds are going in hard. Crusade finally replying with some kills as a diva of his. And yesterday we had some Playmaker divas too. Kali in particular. He was a god with her. And, well, the red team will surely be taking the objective on that pace. And most of all, it just kicked off with Dante's swift death. Then it allowed Winston to very easily get in without Discord Orb. It's real hard to get rid of him. And that's a very quick cap.
Yeah, that was super quick. I mean, they just came out and they lost Dante at the start, and I thought that would kind of, hold them back, but they just pushed forward, and it was two champions down, and then from there, they managed to take control, and now they're escorting Doomfist's truck forward now.
Yeah, and that's
There's a lot of
lot
bloodshotting
of
at the moment.
a lot of that lies in Exceed's hands. Like, his proficiency with the soldier has already been shown for the first seconds of this matchup. Prime is gonna get the kill on Yona, and without Winston is going to be tough to rehold on this payload, but they still have both their healers. Dante this time doesn't die, but his Discord Orb is on him, so he's gotta be real careful not to get hit with some collateral damage or anything. Roeb and Umer once again are getting some of the kills. Roeb now finally receives the Discord Orb that I was talking about. It's so much necessary to really bring down a Winston. Without it, it's real hard to do it, especially when you have to still beat through the shields too. And Transcendence, Dante, ballsy of a move right here, although not too much backup I can see right now. Morty's just trying to still stay alive behind the enemy's lines, but the ultimates are overpowering the blue team, although Facility will finally go down. Okay, he had still a chance to pull off something more in favor of his team, but for now, Netherlands are surely on the back for the second point. Is taken so quickly. 6 minutes still remaining in the time bank right there, and if it continues like that, they might as well just save up like 5 of them going into the second round.
Well, the Helsinki Reds are really definitely taking charge here. They're pushing forward. There we have Lucio's ultimate. They were getting a lot of kills, and even when they were down a few, they were able to equalize it and kind of maintain the payload in this position, and then take control once again and push forward. And here we go, lots of kills again, 2 down on Team Netherlands side, but now they're all coming back up again. We have a couple of players on Helsinki Red that are on fire. As you mentioned and pointed out, Winston is being really crucial there and doing very well. Rap showing his proficiency.
In the previous fight, Yona going in with a Primal Rage. Could not throw anybody off the map. Could not really deal a lot of damage, so a little bit unlucky right there. Now, staying in his barrier. Has to soak up a lot of damage out there because with 4 people in front of his face, it was real tough to stay alive. Now the other team is charging in, and it will be Helsinki Reds on the offense, though they're not really getting as many kills as they might have expected. Yona from behind. That's a lot of AoE damage delivered with that Tesla gun, and they are forced on the back foot. Finally, for once, Helsinki Reds have to fall back.
Yeah, Too Easy really showed, a bit of annoyance there with his Tracer gameplay popping in and darting out, doing a lot of, picking damage there, which was quite interesting. It was a bit of a, I understood the idea behind the push, but it didn't seem to work out. Here we have Eva's ultimate coming in, Transcendent gets popped out. Now's an opportunity as we have a couple of the ultimates building up on Helsinki Red team. 4 down now for Team Netherlands, so now our Helsinki Reds are able to kind of push this forward and control the map.
Now it's gonna be much easier. Too Easy was sitting on the flank for so long, and he actually finally died without really doing anything. He was just spotted out by Rue, and now Crusade is gonna try to hold on to this payload for as long as possible. Yona's gonna be joining him in, but they really need these ultimates to defend themselves. Tactical Visors going down, the Primal Rage from through it once again. This self-destruct was so much more clutch, and Crime
Look,
overall getting a double kill with the Dragon Blade, just probably cleaning up this mess after all. And yeah, more trying to switch over to the Ana, but not being able to get the Nano boost in time just doesn't really give you much of an advantage with that hero. 3 minutes 29 seconds. So overall, it could have been the like 4.5 minutes that I was mentioning, but they
yeah.
lost one team fight. But it's only one team fight. That's scary. I'm wondering what Team Netherlands will look like on the offense, because if they cannot pull off such a quick take on the first point, I think they're already heavily behind.
Yeah, well, I mean, that was really quick, and I'm quite impressed by the way that they took charge. And even when things didn't necessarily work out in their favor, they were able to minimize the damage and never gave Team Netherlands the opportunity to take control of the map or the payload. So it'll be interesting to see how things go now.
Okay, then. Maybe some differences in the team comp, although I don't think that that's going to be happening easily in this matchup, surely. And yeah, yesterday we had some little experimenting and stuff, but basically what the tier 1s found out at some point was that, I don't know, you have an extremely good Fire and Mercy comp on your side, but it just doesn't matter. The enemy team picks, back in the days, was Zenyatta and McCree. Right now it's going to be Zenyatta and maybe a Soldier. And you get taken down so quickly. While when we watched Group A, it was like a little, like half a tier lower of a matchup. But right there, you could just go for that Fire and Mercy. If you were good enough, you could overpower the enemy lineup. The others were struggling with countering it. While right here, I think we'll be seeing much less of these situational picks.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen slight changes on the Team Netherlands comps. You know, they picked up the Genji, they've kept the Tracer and the Winston, which makes sense. So we'll be seeing how that goes. Too Easy is definitely popping forward. He had the right idea, as you mentioned in the last one, about coming from behind, doing that flank to pop in the damage, but he just held off a little bit too long and wasn't able to do anything. He's now behind the team, and he's doing quite a bit of damage now just to Winston and D.Va. While the other team, and they're not focusing on him, which is he's on the point, and he's doing a lot of damage to Winston at the moment.
Oh, that's not,
down, though,
yeah, that's not necessarily when he wanted to be. And
no, what he got put out there, the team definitely managed to react appropriately.
they were set up very right for it in the very first place. When he peeked out, he only could see a Winston and a D.Va. That's not the targets that you want to chip away at with the Tracer. Everybody was just below and very far away from there. So the Zenyatta, the Lucio, they were out of reach. And while Primer just was going in and wreaking havoc with his Genji, and already is taking a lot of time off the hands of Team Netherlands. They didn't even get close to capping the point. They lost the team fight completely. They had to reset right now. Facility, though, opening up this one and killing Rope. And then they get rid of the Mecha of Ramirez, and that's going to be big. But Crimer's just jumping in. The Swift Strike's cutting people down. DVR also trying to support him as much as possible. He's still got 2 healers combined, so there is a big possibility with Dragon Blade popping up right now that he alone could just hold the entirety of the enemy team off. And yeah, that's what's happening indeed.
Yeah, Genji was definitely, he had the right idea, but again, it's the execution that was lacking there. And it seems to be a bit of the issue with Team Netherlands at the moment, is that they have the same comp, and but right now, you know, they have 3 supers, D.Va's Transcendence, and Genji's Dragon Blade, so it'll be very interesting to see what they can do with this, because they need to make the push, because if it doesn't happen soon, I struggle to see how they're going to win this one.
And Transcendence popped out just to try and counter the
Dragon Blade.
The other side, but this self-destruct in the air, this could be huge. Actually doesn't get a single kill. Luckily enough, Morty had his amp it up, but we're just able to run away as quickly as possible. Wimera and Pretty Wise, though, are getting the kills. So they are slightly on the back, but without time, though, way too low on health to fight, and he runs straight into 2 easy Soldier. Helix rockets in the face of Crusade and Wimera. It's funny to just look how these divas are shooting each other down without their mechas, but well, Winston's ultimate's gonna apparently save the day. There was nobody to stay on the point, but just was cut out before the fight was over. Left in a 1v1 right there. Winston can easily overpower a Soldier in a point-blank situation, especially with his ultimate.
Yeah, well, once again, you know, we just see it. Helsinki Reds are able to mitigate the damage that the other team is able to do. Team Netherlands, it looks like they're having the advantage. It looks like they're doing very well. And then suddenly Helsinki Red, someone comes up clutch and is just able to hold it off. And then nothing is able to happen from there. And I just don't see it happening right now.
And once again, Ruib just chasing down the enemy soldier very easily. Too easy though, has the visor, and right now the Winston nowhere to be found next to him. He's just chasing down as Zenyatta. That's a great opening. Too easy can get so many kills. Oh my goodness, what a mistake from Ruib right here. Not protecting his team, just trying to take down one healer while the rest of his teammates just died. Now the point's gonna be taken. That for sure, the payload's already being pushed. But the timer is not really necessarily good. They're so far behind Helsinki Raids already that it's hard to imagine how they'll catch up.
Yeah, I think it is definitely still going to be very tough, I think. But Too Easy coming up big there. He swapped over from the Tracer's Soldier 76, and it's just been paying off. Like, you know, he got a crazy amount of kills there. And now they're pushing the payload forward. Good escape there, and we'll just have to see. It's tricky, but at this moment, I think what's important is just not to get too caught up in it. You know, make the right plays, keep your head in the game, and just take the opportunities in one step at a time. Don't worry about what the score is. It's a best of 3 they can win, and it's still very early on.
Alright, Visility actually managed to make some good use of this ultimate at the end of the day, but when he jumped in with the Dragon Blade, he was instantly knocked aside, and that wasted like half of its time, but then he got 2 kills anyway and delivered quite a big chunk of damage towards Exceed. Yona was able to finish him off with the 3 kills. It's an easy cleanup later on, so they can push the point further. But will it be another contest from the defenders? As the question, well, Mero is approaching. Yes, he's going to contest this one very easily. And, well, then the self-destruct flies in, does nothing but Too Easy once again with his visor. He's just such a big problem, such a big issue. Exceed trying to counter it with his own, but he's being countered by a defense matrix in his face from Crusade. And the point has to be taken at that stage, especially since right now everybody's just getting finished off.
You know, that's now been a number of fights, about 2 or 3 of them, where Netherlands has managed to kind of kill 2 to 4 players on Helsinki Reds without losing anyone on their own team. And I think a big part of this is Too Easy. I've been watching him significantly in his positioning, and just the amount of damage he's outputting has been huge. So it'll be very interesting. And this flank from behind could be very damaging. There we go. He just taken down Zenyatta.
Oh, the self-destruct right in the middle of the T5. That's something new, and it's going to get at least 1 kill this time, finally. Mera going for a good move, always trying to throw up the mecha into the air. This time, tried to pass it on the ground, and it worked out with a kill. On an important support, of course, the Lucio is a must in every single team comp nowadays.
So here we are. There we go. I was about to say we have the Dragon Blade charged up, and I think it's going to be used. Definitely jumping in, and the amount of damage. Yeah, look at that. Nice triple kill. And this should be it. This should be a nice push forward. Look at that. 5 down. What a great combination there that they just managed to pull off. So here we go. Is this going to be it?
Now just grouping up in the respawn. Tracer once again picked up on the red side. Well, Mera is actually switching over to it instead of Exceed or whoever. Right there, actually. The D.Va's gone. I'm not necessarily sure if that's the greatest idea. There comes the self-destruct. Once again, no kills gotten right there. Oh, well, everybody's being crashed against, and they just squished up their entire lineup going into that last defense, which is quite a curious thing, because this far, the Netherlands have been crushing them as soon as they started pushing that payload. Yes, they were struggling on the first point a little bit, but from that point on, there was nothing tough for them, really. And now Prettywise decides to change over to the D.Va because it is pretty useful, you know, when you have to just contest the payload for as long as possible. Oh, the tactical visor comes in right there, but way too late, and it's just going to be shot down. So Team Netherlands, they are getting the 3 points. They are getting to the second rounds, but they're pretty far behind in terms of the timer. And if they will have to push with just 1 minute, and with how much they struggled on the first point, there is a big shot that they will not even be able to get that first one. While Helsinki Reds, even if they just capture the first point, they might already be victorious.
Yeah, no, I definitely think. I mean, it was a good comeback from Team Netherlands, but the Helsinki Reds definitely came out with a, a very powerful start, and it'd be exciting to see what happens and how we end up continuing it on there. Not entirely sure what's going to happen, but we'll just have to wait and see what's the next match.
Oh yeah, but once again, just really not much changing until that very last moment. 3 DPS got picked up in a composition where they really did not lack the DPS. Some of the decisions that they made led them to that horrible fate. For instance, as I mentioned, like Ruape just decided to jump out and just chase down as a Nyada while his team was being slaughtered, which just did not look too good overall. But yeah, at the very beginning, they were sticking quite well, and they didn't really need to change anything. Maybe they got scared after they got shattered finally.
Well, I'm excited to see. So, Too Easy actually picked up Tracer initially, but I found him much stronger on the Soldier, but he swapped back over to it. Again, we have two teams that are very mirrored in this sense. So, Rob's Winston has been strong, and at this point, it's kind of, anyone can go for it.
Yeah, you see, just going for that soldier on the defense right off the bat, and as you mentioned, Too Easy decided to defend with a Tracer in the very beginning last time. Which might have been a little bit of a mistake, but just look at that already. 20 seconds remaining. They lost 3 of their people. They have to fall back, 2 maybe, but it doesn't make a difference. They're just unable to push through. Just a single elimination can already make that. And Too Easy jumping in with a soldier in the front. He's got to be careful. XC's already shooting at him there. Helix rockets were pretty close, and that could have already meant his death. But there we go. Dante coming in from the flank with just the rest of the lineup. And he hits the headshots out there. Boss Bob Raz is instantly gone. And Yona also delivering the killing blow over to the other support. And that's going to probably capture the point already. Without the healers, I can't imagine Helsinki Red still winning this team fight. They're just being cut down one after another. Bizility with the Swift Strike, Too Easy with the Helix Rockets. They do have a point, but they're already taking on the overtime. Just losing one single team fight means it's round over for them, and then they have to stand up against 4 minutes of a time bank that Helsinki Reds have.
Yeah, I'm really impressed by the way that the Team Netherlands have come back from this. From the initial match, I was a bit worried that they weren't going to show up, but now they're playing very well. The team's really coming up, and I'm watching Dante again on this, what's called, it's doing very well. So he's charging up the shots, they're pushing up, and once again, it seems Helsinki keep on losing 2-3 people each time that they go for that big engage, and Team Netherlands just are always taking the advantage and escaping with that small amount of health.
Oh, yeah.
There we go.
With overtime taking for so long, it just requires a single moment for it to be over, and the self-destruct was definitely perfect on that. It just zoned everybody away, everybody had to scatter, and that forced out the Transcendence because the Zenyatta had to stay in the field. And then before, once again, Team Netherlands regrouped, it was already over. So yeah, that's how tough it is when you don't have a lot of time. And there come the 4 minutes now. Even if it's not the first push capture on the first point, then it's still not a bad situation for Helsinki Reds by any means. And you really got to be scared of that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We'll definitely have to just wait and see how things play out now. At this point, the teams are setting up. Again, it's just very similar previous teams, so I think they definitely know what they want to play. We'll just have to wait and see. So Too Easy is looking at, he has the Tracer again, so just have to wait and see what happens.
My ultimate is charging. This is gonna make you feel better.
Oh man, this could be over any moment right now, and this far Numbani looks pretty much in the favor of Helsinki Reds, and now that's what I've noticed. Yesterday we had a lot of like explosions, a lot of exciting situations, but right here everything's being played out in the heads of these players. Killing one single person means already the team fight might be over, and it's 6-0. We rarely see these equal team fights where there's 2v2 left at the very end of it. Most of the time, that's exactly like it. Team Netherlands killing one person, and that leads to an entire team wipe. And even if they just kill a single person, the rest of the team just falls back and waits on the respawn until they have a full team count.
Yeah, what a crazy opening there. Straight away, like them charging in Team Netherlands and just the aggressiveness, and it paid out hugely. They complete team wipe, and now it's been reset, and we're going to have to see how Helsinki Reds react.
And it was a great idea overall. They have to exhaust as much of the talent bank as possible, so they just go in and wipe them before anything happens, really, with the enemies not necessarily expecting that. And Ruev trying to get Dante down, but he's gonna have to reload at the worst possible moment. He gets taken out, but finally Dante also dies. That's gonna be Kryma before cutting down Mort, so there are no healers on the blue side, but it seems like Team Netherlands don't necessarily care about that. Yona cuts down 3 people combined in the entire fight. And then BBR goes down right at the end of Kryma.
Yeah, that was a very interesting push in with Diva. It was a lot of damage onto Dante, but then, you know, Rob just definitely, sorry, I think it was Jonah definitely stood up there and stepped up with that Winston, which is just proving to be like possibly the most valuable pick currently in Overwatch.
Well, Umara is just gonna have to fall back a little bit, and a tractor approach from below, and I don't think that many teams already use that strat. As they're going in, nobody stops them, but then there's the Dragon Blade, too easy, also obliterating the targets of the enemy lineup with Justice Tracer without the Pulse Bomb additionally, which is even more impressive. And yeah, as the team fights over, I also have to point out that, oh, come on, Pretty Wise, is he gonna survive? Yes, he is, luckily enough, because that would have broken down the entire team for at least 10 more seconds. Well, what I wanted to say is that today we've not necessarily seen any pulse bombs, really. Yesterday we had some triple kills, some play of the matches with the pulse bombs, but right here, nobody's really throwing them down. Maybe because they're mostly playing the soldier, but Too Easy also had some tough time finding the right spot many times already. Well, that's going to say he's taking another person down. Once again, Team Netherlands are coming out on top of Exceed. Replies to through the enemy's on that spin strike.
Had they find
He's going to get taken down by choice. Like actually, to some extent. Careful, just single head out. He's going to survive a little longer, and the point is it's not going to be taken entirely off this medal. We're coming back. 50 seconds remaining. It's like back.
Oh, okay, so we have Tracer now. They're pushing in. This is really coming down to the clutch at the moment with, you know, Tracer on stream pushing it. Now we're swapping to Genji, trying to eliminate. Team Netherlands are doing a great job at keeping Helsinki Reds off the point. Whereas Helsinki Red were very dominant initially, Team Netherlands have just seemed to have warmed up completely. Even though I think I was watching the chat saying that Too Easy wasn't necessarily doing his best on Tracer, he's showing us that he's definitely a pro at the DPS and holding Helsinki Reds back. And every time it looks like the Helsinki Reds are able to kind of crack the defense of Team Netherlands, Team Netherlands just pull it out of the bag, and just with some great play from Dante, Jonah, Too Easy, Morte, all of them just stepping up when the team needs them to. But we have the big fight at the moment, Tracer putting a lot of damage out. From behind, she's definitely trying to be annoying, and it's overtime at the moment, so we're going to see, are they going to be able to capture it, or is this going to be it? And that is it. So, well, that's unexpected. Like, you know, it's just, as I was saying at the start, you know, it's important not to let those first games get to you, because the dominance that Helsinki's Red showed definitely made us think that Team Netherlands might be upset there, but they came back, they played incredibly well, and just stopped everything. And every time from after that first match, and look, I know this was a great play by Jonah.
No, we're just keeping the enemies away from that payload until the very end. They had to do that. Not necessarily like maybe the most spectacular fight or the play of this entire game, but it was counted as the play of the match. You cannot really say anything about it, but the Dragon Blades sometimes that were coming out were just huge, and sometimes from Kryma, most of the time I would even say, Visility started showing up only when the game was about to end, but then he just was a beast, and
Yeah.
Just like that, they have taken this map, and as you said, with the dominance from Helsinki Reds, it was really hard to expect Team Netherlands to come back, but they actually managed to make it. And the very last minute, the two last team fights of the last round right here were a masterpiece from their side. I have to say that. Just stalling out for enough to not allow the enemies to take the point. Then the rest of the team just flowing in, and the healers just flying in, even sacrificing themselves, not caring about anything. And yes, Yona, he got the play of the game. Maybe it's not the one that I wanted to see, but he was the man on this last defense. He definitely was
Absolutely.
just on point every single time, and most importantly, he did not make the mistake that Ruape did. It might have been maybe even a 3-0, who knows, in favor of Helsinki Reds if Ruape just didn't go for that Zenyatta at 1 point. And while if you were watching Yona, if you were just following him, then this guy was always sitting on the point. He was never really jumping away from there. When he was jumping away from the point, it was backwards, actually, to catch some Tracer that was trying to infiltrate their backline. So, yeah, just great play overall by the main tank of Team Netherlands.
No, absolutely. Like Team Netherlands, like you said, at the end there were really just playing a masterful game. So this is interesting. We're currently going to see a bit of a change up in the team. Too Easy is still staying on that Tracer. Jonah's on that Winston again. Ruap on Winston as well. So they're definitely maining it. So it'll be interesting to see how they match up. A few differences in the other champions though. So we're definitely, there's got lots of snipers on Helsinki Red side. So that'll be interesting to see how they manage to pull that out and what they're able to do.
Well, probably they're not going to hold on to the Hanzo, but yesterday we've seen a ton of the Widowmaker play, so I wouldn't be surprised if Exceeds decides to go for that. And yeah, he's the hit scan player on the team, so the Widowmaker is probably going to suit him very, very fine.
Yeah, no, I think Widowmaker is just definitely going to be interesting, but she's been dropped now. So we're seeing a Mei who personally is actually one of my favorite champions to play and can definitely be incredibly annoying to play against. But will be interesting to see what Crimer's able to do against that. Once again, both sides, what are they? So we're pushing in now, a bit of that initial skirmish and the damage going on. Winston diving straight in. And a couple of deaths. Look at that. Team Netherlands off to an explosive start and a complete team wipe of Helsinki Reds.
Wow, yeah. That's a team kill and a really quick one. And seeing Crime on that Mei, he was jumping in. I didn't necessarily see like a clutch wall right there. He got some great spikes, great hit shots out there for sure, but they didn't really manage to use that to any extent. And it's great control of the lower tunnel right here from Team Netherlands. They're not really letting the payload through too far, but right now it's all down to Facility for just a moment. Dante's joining in on the Sombra of his, and he's already got the EMP. He's going to jump towards the healers and then flash back, interestingly enough. So not looking for any action, but maybe just because he does not have enough support from the rest of the team. Exceed is cutting down Yona pretty wise. He's also going to get a kill. BBR now getting rid of Dante, booping him off the map, and Facility also falls. Overall, just finishing the team wipe as he did not necessarily want to stay alive out there, and they're gonna have to regroup. They still wanna use this EMP somehow, but it's really weird how Dante approaches the backline many times and just does not find a good opportunity for it. Now he will have also a combination of Dragon Blade and Pulse Bomb to back it up, but maybe they're waiting for the Transcendence or something along these lines.
But Dante's pushing in there, but he's nearly been caught out, and there we go, there's the EMP used, but it wasn't, I don't know how effective it is, except that, well, there we go, a couple of kills, and Team Netherlands once again just, I don't know, just finding these incredible engages where they're able to eliminate not just one pick, but they're able to constantly get about half of Helsinki Red's team, and now we just saw 4 of them die, so it just means that once again Helsinki Reds needs to fall back and Team Netherlands take control.
Yeah, now the health bag's being hacked. Now this Sombra comes into big value. And once again, just charging up the ultimate's going to be an important task in here to try and fight for the first point again. Because it's real close to being pushed through. If just one team fight is lost by them, it's going to be the end. Now there's a sound barrier, there's a Transcendence, and we got Primer in the front on the Soldier. Tossing down the Felix rockets, but not delivering the damage he wanted to do with it. And now he's trying to chunk through that Winston's barrier, but finds a much better angle from behind on the enemies. And that's a... Oh, well, that health pack is not going to come back so quickly. But actually, he somehow stays alive right there. Kyron ran out of bullets. And then Dante was able to get a great teleporter out there. And then there's the EMP. And they're going to throw it down. Dante with a double kill. The Dragon Blade's also gone down. But Facility actually was shot down by Krymer real quickly. And Krymer, what a man in this team fight. Started off so strong as the soldier. Leads the team all the way through it. Gets the backline kill right after. And then with the tactical visor charged up, even shuts down the EMP.
Yeah, that was incredibly clutch by both teams, actually. I definitely thought Dante was dead on, and then he managed to come back and get a very clutch double kill, which was then responded by the Soldier 76. So here we have, again, just so close to the point, and they need to win this because we're getting close to the end, and if they're not able to do it, it's definitely going to be disappointing.
Yeah, Facility instantly shot down after he draws that Dragon Blade of his. Now, a lot of strain is going to be on that Tracer up there. It's too easy, trying to do as much as possible, but he was the last man standing actually for a moment before the Zenyatta joined him. And Exceed and the gang are cutting them down. They still did not take their hands on Too Easy, but they killed Dante as soon as he came through with that software, so he's not really going to get much of that ultimate charge. He has the EMP ready again. Too Easy, though, is still alive, and he's still holding them back from getting that first point, but it's just a matter of time. It had to be taken. And finally, they're wiping out the enemy team a little bit harder, so that they have to regroup instead of sending in another mobile hero like a Genji or a Tracer in to try and stop them for as long as possible.
Yeah, well, I want to talk about Exceed there because he was outputting a lot of damage and just being a real pain on Team Netherlands. But he managed to get a couple of kills and set up a couple of more kills and just was always up in the air, jumping in and out and putting the DPS that was needed to win. So finally, Helsinki Reds are able to push through, and here we have the fight again. And is that Tracer's now? We just swapped over to Tracer. She's putting a lot of damage in. And it definitely seems like Too Easy is woken up.
That was
because his Tracer play has been playing has been really impressive recently.
A huge EMP thrown down by Dante, but countered completely by a Transcendence coming in from behind the gate, actually. The Zenyatta was just sitting in the back, waiting to throw down his ultimate, though Dante is still alive and still doing something out there, getting one kill just before he finally falls, and the payload's going further and further, but this is one of the toughest places to actually push it through. And if they get into the garage, they're going to get a little bit of time for themselves, but then they'll have to try and capture the third point. But they're actually not doing a bad job at all on Route 66. That's definitely a good attempt this far by Helsinki Reds. Now, wow, from both the sides we see Falls Bomb, but they both take down just a single kill. Exceed, though, pushing through with the Dragon Blade, with the support of Umero's Tracer out there, and they're gonna try to finish off the rest of the remaining Team Red Netherlands. But once again, Too Easy every single time, just stays alive there somehow, and is that big pain in the neck, but will get shot down by Ruape and the payload.
Helsinki Reds are definitely starting to wake up, and oh, here we go, Dragon Blades come out. He's able to get one kill, and is he able to get another? No, he was shut down there at the end, so it wasn't that effective, but Helsinki Reds definitely seem to have woken up, and I mean, as you said, it's incredibly tough to push through here, but they've actually made it look fairly straightforward and easy, so it'll be interesting, are they able to get it into that point and make it through or not? But Too Easy, look at him, just so annoying with that Tracer, constantly darting in and out and playing on that knife's edge that you need to when you're playing Tracer. You've really always got to be dancing just on the corner of the blade, you know, nearly dead, nearly alive, and just always putting out as much damage as possible.
Yeah, but he's been doing very well, if not the best on his team. I kind of see the ultimates from Sombra lacking a tiny bit, but Dante's already switched over to Zenyatta right now. It's all going to go down right now. If all the ultimates are being thrown down, this is mayhem because overtime's ticking, and it's ticking down to half. There's nobody to touch it, really. Oh, finally, BBR managed to approach it, but he has that Lucy who's not going to survive for too long, especially with Winston on. Then Winston also cuts down the Genji as a complete counter, and the Genji could not run away. He dashed in with the swift strike to get on the payload, and there is no second point. They're not getting into the garage. As I said, this is going to be the toughest point to push through, And indeed, they did not manage to do that. And Helsinki Reds, though, as I mentioned, it wasn't the worst approach, but what I'm scared of is that if they don't put up such a good defense near the garage right here, then it's going to be a bigger problem for them.
Definitely, it's I think they need to just make sure that they go back to playing what they were playing before those comfort picks and playing well together. Dante had some decent moments, I felt, on Sombra, but it wasn't necessarily pushing too easy. And Jonah are the two out of Team Netherlands that I feel are stepping up a lot. But will be interesting to see what the team comps and how they end up going for the second one. Definitely think I don't really know what's going wrong with Helsinki Reds, or if it's just that Team Netherlands are playing that much better together and preventing them from getting into their groove. But I want to keep an eye on Exceed now. He's on Soldier 76. I saw him do very well at moments with Genji, so we'll be able to see what he's able to do with this soldier at the moment.
Yeah, and as you say, the Dante Sombra, yeah, had some ups right there, but mostly when the rest of the team was gone, there was nobody to follow up and nobody to really clean up. And what's the funniest thing is that Dante jumped in, tried to find a way to the backline of the enemy team, jumped in, clicked the EMP, and then he had to kill everybody all by himself too, because there was nobody to do that really. So what he would usually do is jump in, use EMP, jump back, try to find a way in again to kill off the healers, and yeah, that just took way too much time.
So here we have the Helsinki Reds pushing out. Sorry, the Team Netherlands pushing out and the Helsinki Reds playing defense. Just pushing the payload around the corner there, just a bit of skirmishing back and forth. Dante already dead though. And Team Netherlands, Jonah's now down as well. Dante's revived, so it'll be interesting. But Exceed is definitely outputting a nice amount of damage there. So it'll be interesting to see how are they able to hold them back.
Nowhere ideas with the May this time, and that May I don't think it's worked out too well for Kryma in the very beginning, and maybe that would be the 30 additional seconds or something. Anyway though, once again the blue team's flying in. Netherlands are going to try to overpower the enemy team, and that's working out quite fine. Crusade with this Devo of his, he's just pushing everybody back. They cannot do much about him, even with the Discord orb out there. The defense matrix is just a little bit too much. Tryman, though, is not going down as a Genji. Just soaks up so much damage himself, interestingly enough, but finally will get cut down by Facility. And yes, indeed, Team Netherlands are pushing through a little bit quicker than Helsinki Reds. And overall, even when Team Netherlands got wiped out on the defense here, it still was not a complete wipe, so that they had that too easy out there sitting on the payload, still holding the enemies back. They had another person, they had Dante with the Sombra running around and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the story of the whole game so far, hasn't it? It's been Team Netherlands have been able to control the pace and the tempo of the game, and Helsinki Reds have been struggling to kind of turn it around. Their best moments have been when they've managed to get, 3 or 4 kills, but they haven't been able to convert that into the objective the same way that Team Netherlands has been. And here we see, Jonah on Winston again, and there we have Lucio's ultimate, but we are going to be able to see something happen. Dragon Blade, he has 3 kills, and looks like that's it. It's just going to stop them from pushing forward.
Yeah, and finally, Facility getting a good Dragon Blade play down, and once again, just as I felt in Numbani, he started performing later on when the map was about to be over. Right now, once again, when they were the ones defending, he was struggling a little bit, but now he's starting to get the good Dragon Blades. The 3 kills he got combined right there, and helped with 1 more takedown by one of his teammates, is more than enough to just wipe out the entirety of the enemy team and get the first point way quicker than Helsinki Reds do it. But
we have 3 ultimates currently on the Helsinki Reds, so it'll be interesting 4 at the moment, so it'll be interesting to see how they combine them together already. But 2 down already, look at that, 2 for 1. Jonah's down on one side, but Mortar's on fire, and it's just the difference in that now we have the Dragon Blade, but Diva jumped straight in, and look at that, triple kill.
Yeah, Kryma definitely doing a great effort still with that Genji. I mean, Facility's got his ups and downs, mostly ups by the ending of the maps, but Crimer is very consistent with that Genji of his, and he's always pulling it off very well now. The enemy team's going to be pushed back a tiny bit. Helsinki Reds can recover a little bit. And remember, I was talking about how you were trying to find a flank with the Tracer of his. We're not really seeing necessarily too much of that pre-wise. He's going to get killed off by that self-destructed. I don't think anybody really knew where the explosion wave is going to go because it was stopped on the bridge awkwardly out there. But Too Easy on it. They're just continuing to sweep up the kills. Too Easy has the visor ready too. He didn't even need to use it in this fight. So it might be so much easier to just grab that 89 meters mark.
Yeah, no, that was just a great play by Too Easy, and like you said, he didn't even use the visor. There's some great gameplay coming on right now, so it depends on how far they're going to push it, and are they going to get stalled at the end there? Like you said, you know, that final little bit is incredibly hard to seal off, so it'll be interesting to see what's able to be done. And there we see the visor being popped, but Winston in his face, and I'm not sure he's going to be able to survive this. No,
Oh
there
no,
we go.
he's not. Well, very unlucky, but the great shutdown with the tactical visor. When you're drawing the Dragon Blade, there's this little cooldown where you can't use your ability, so no chance for a deflect and you're dead. Now, Fiona gonna grab 2 more right here. He's just once again going wild. Will he once again want to get the play of the match right here with situations like these? But we once again have another Dragon Blade. Primer trying to shut down the other Genji, but he's struggling too much. So while he's focused on just one single person, and he's also losing the fight, he was left with less HP. He's leaving the rest of the enemy team unscathed. And just like that, we have a ton of people on this payload, and it's going to be led towards that 3-2 scoreline. Or 2-1.
It definitely looks like Jonah's trying to do his very best to outdo Too Easy. You know, like Too Easy is showing us a great performance on his Tracer and Soldier, but Jonah on this Winston is just coming up clutch again and again and just stopping Helsinki Reds from being able to move things forward.
Play of the match.
Oh,
All
Too
right.
Easy. There we go. So this was very early on in the match. But look
Yeah,
at that.
actually,
Just
the
set
Primus
things
still
up.
made-
Just that DPS. This was yeah, the early
That's
team
why-
wipe set them back.
That's why the entire situation just didn't work out. They had most of the enemy team closed off with the ice wall, but they were not able to deliver enough damage. And before they started delivering the damage, the Tracer just completely erased them. So yeah, it's actually a 2-0 in favor of Team Netherlands. On the first map, they were struggling horribly. Right here on Route 66, it was much more likely that they're going to take it, but it still wasn't like 100% obvious. So definitely good performance, keeping us in the suspense out there for sure. And they're going to be going to the winners match. That will happen right after Vivi's Adventure versus Who Are They? And this match, it's going to be quite important because, yeah, right now we saw Team Netherlands struggling, although decisively taking the match. But right now we might see Vivi's Adventure just completely sweeping the floor with Who Are They? Or it might be the biggest surprise of the day. A team ranked at hashtag 400 facing off against a team from Europe's top 10. And maybe taking a map or something like that. But probably taking a point would be much more realistic to say, right?
Yeah, no, I mean, it'll definitely be interesting. I think just focusing on this match, a lot of people expected, and I know there are a lot of fans in the stream watching Helsinki Reds and expecting a bit more. I was definitely thinking Team Netherlands were the favorites, and it probably end up 2-1. And I was quite excited after the beginning, but it just looked like they needed to warm up a little bit, and the confidence there to just let that loss go and then come back and dominate the next series of games the way that they did is a testament to their experience and talent. It reminds me a little bit of the games yesterday. You know, we saw NC, and unfortunately due to a disconnect, they lost one, but they were happy. They gave the other team a point because it was so confident that they could win the next two. And it's, if this is the level of play that we're seeing, it's definitely intimidating to the other teams. Vivi's Adventure are very established, so we have no idea how, they're a team that I expect to win. But like you said, we never know what might happen. So what do you know about the players from Vivi's Adventure?
Oh well, they definitely. If the lineup's still true, you know the changes can happen at all the times. Yesterday in Group A, I was actually mentioning how they replaced, how one team replaced two players a month
Yeah.
ago, how another team replaced them 2 months ago, and stuff like that. Okay, I actually hear that we can show the player sheets, so let's talk about the lineup as we
Great.
look at it. The introducing videos actually, but yeah, the lineups are there if I'm not mistaken. So let's just take a look at them.
Oh my god. It's BB's adventure. Look.
Gonna give you up. I'm never gonna let you go. Never gonna say goodbye. No. Never gonna give you up. I'm never gonna let you go. Never gonna